Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever brought you to us today, welcome home. You matter to us. We feel the connection through the airwaves and beyond. My name is Reverend Leslie Goodwin, and I'm one of the senior ministers here at New Vision Center. And I often center into this feeling of being so very blessed. My talk today is called Choosing Joy as a Tool for Healing. And as has been the trend this month, it could have been called Strawberries Continued. So one of the ways God is good to me is I have a co-senior minister, Reverend Karen Lewis. And last week she gave this great talk that worked me all week. And my talk is really, I think we've created the first two minister, two talk series on the same topic because I'm going to keep going right from where she left off. So if you want to hear Reverend Karen tell this opening story gracefully and beautifully with full embellishment, I invite you to look at last week's talk, which was August 9th, and you can see her beautiful talk. I'm going to give a little shortened, condensed version where there is a Buddhist monk, and his student comes to him and says, I need to progress and I don't know how. And the monk tells him this story about a guy being chased by tigers, and he runs and he runs and he jumps off a cliff and he realizes, oh no, he's hanging by a twig. There are tigers below, there's tigers above, imminent death. And then he sees some strawberries growing right off the edge of the cliff, and he thinks, what lovely strawberries. And he picks one and he eats it. And that's the end of the story. And of course, the student was like, And Reverend Karen explains that the monk told him that even when we think we're being chased by tigers, there is always something to be aware of and awake to that is good, to be grateful to. And in this story, it's the strawberries. She then shared some thoughts from one of her favorite teachers that basically boiled down to you don't have to be grateful for everything, but you do have to be grateful for every moment. And I left that talk with the awareness. Here's my summation of Reverend Karen's talk. I don't have to be grateful for the things that are hurting in my life, but I better be on the hunt for strawberries. I better always be on the hunt for strawberries. You know, gratitude and joy are so interconnected. They weave in and out of themselves in a way that's almost indistinguishable from each other. And it occurs to me as I'm working all week on this talk and on Reverend Karen's talk from last week, that we can use that for healing. We can use that for healing. We can take that joy and we can anchor into it for healing, because healing is about removing dis-ease. Disease breaks into two words, dis-ease. So whether it's an emotional thing we're wanting to heal, or a physical thing we're wanting to heal, or a relationship or a world quality we're seeking to heal, there is a sense of unease in it, right? And what heals a sense of unease or dis-ease? Joy. Joy brings ease back into every situation. So I thought, okay, we're on to something here. How might we use joy and the gratitude that's naturally intertwined with it to actively, not passively, but actively as a tool, step into healing for ourselves, in our relationships, and in the world? How can we do this? Well, first I had to go to one of my great favorite teachers, the ultimate mystic, Carlos Santana, who said, if you carry joy in your heart, you can heal any moment. And we might laugh about a rock star being a great mystic, but the truth is, if you carry joy in your heart, you can heal any moment. You can remove the lack of ease from any moment. I am someone who has talked about healing a lot, who's been working with healing a lot, basically for the whole time I've been here as part of New Vision Center, which is just crossed the 13-year mark last month. And a lot of people know that I have some physical challenges that I experience in the form of autoimmune disorders and chronic pain. And a couple of years ago, I made the choice, we pick words of the year, and I picked a phrase of the year. I think it was 3 years ago now, and it was, I choose joy anyway. I choose joy anyway. And this is where it came from. I caught myself saying over and over and over, everything hurts. Everything hurts. My whole body hurts. I feel like I got hit by a Mack truck. Everything hurts. And one day, my fabulous husband said, does your pinky toe hurt? And I stopped and thought about it. No. My pinky toe feels great, both on the right and left foot. What else doesn't hurt? My hair is fabulous. Doesn't hurt and looks good today, I thought. My lips are nice. No pain there. My entire right arm feels great, and I worked my way through my whole body. And it turned out my left shoulder and my knees hurt. Everything did not hurt. A couple of things hurt. And the awareness that 98% of my body felt great, and I was completely taking that for granted and focusing 100% on the couple of things that weren't feeling awesome, was a profoundly healing moment. The joy that even in this experience of some dis-ease, most of my body works great. Oh, the relief that comes with that awareness is healing. And what I know now that I couldn't have labeled then is that I was seeking strawberries. The strawberries of cultivating and noticing and consciously choosing joy. To pick out with my mind and my heart the things that are going well. And I am willing to bet in any given moment that even though our human brain has this tendency to really hone in on the one or two things that aren't going well, in any one of our lives, the vast majority of things are going great. And we can decide to take our attention off the things that aren't working as well and onto the things that are, so that that joy wells up. And in the state of joy, in the place of joy, then we can look back at the things that aren't working as well. I find that when I am in dis-ease and frustration, I am tight and hard. All of my muscles get tight. Perhaps you can relate. When I'm in the state of joy, I can soften. And softening physically and emotionally allows healing to happen. Our bodies and our hearts and our minds know how to heal ourselves. And when we are tight and closed and blocked, we're actually interrupting the natural divine flow of healing in our bodies. We can choose to step away from that behavior. We can choose to focus on the joy. One of the things I really love to focus on joy is comedy. I love stand-up comedy. And so we have a bit of a tradition in our house. If I am feeling particularly rotten, we will find stand-up on Netflix. We will find Drunk History. Terribly inappropriate, but really funny. We will find something that gets me laughing, because if I am laughing, the pain levels come down. Why? Because joy is a tool for healing. And we know physiologically that when we are laughing, when we are joyful, our body is releasing an extra amount of the chemicals that both soften pain, the natural analgesics, and that facilitate healing. We have choice. We have agency. Ernest Holmes wrote in our Science of Mind text, "If we gaze longingly at joy, it will make its home with us, and we shall enter its portals and be happy. If we seek the divine in people, we shall find it and be entertaining angels unawares." I genuinely believe that there is no relationship that cannot be healed in God, because I've lived it, I've experienced it. And when we learn how to anchor into joy, no matter what is going on in our life, and allow that to be a healing presence in our life, when we get good at holding those strawberries for ourselves, it turns out we have an expanded capacity to look for strawberries about and for the other people in our life. I know that there is no relationship that cannot be healed in God. And I feel like I need to do a little disclaimer here to remember that healing a relationship does not inherently mean that we are going to rekindle that relationship, that we are going to have in-person connection. Healing a relationship means forgiveness. It means being able to allow that person safe passage through your mind and heart without losing our own center or wishing them ill. So sometimes it means a friendship is reconnected or a family is reconnected, and sometimes it means that we just don't have to carry that anger any longer, that cause of dis-ease in our body, in our life. There is no relationship that cannot be healed in God. It reminds me of a time I was sort of casually dating a gentleman who had the gift of causing me to lose my mind like a crazy person. Perhaps you can relate. And, there's the part of me that was like, just stop dating this person. And there's some validity to that. But there was the other part of me that recognized that I could stop dating this person and then move on to the next relationship. And I am willing to bet that that next person would have been just as irritating, have just as many crappy qualities, and make me just as crazy. Because even though that person was different, I was still gonna be me. I needed to handle why it was that this person could be perfectly lovely, and then I honed in on that one thing he did, and I ruminated, and I worked it, and it stuck, and I ranted, and I called my friend Jen, and you won't believe what he did. Again, probably just me, but perhaps you can relate. And so I started a practice called an appreciation journal. Similar to the kind of gratitude journals you would do where you journal 10 good things that happened to you this day. But I specifically went looking for things I appreciated about him. And sometimes it took a while. Sometimes it wasn't the thing I wanted to journal about. Sometimes I wanted to journal about the thing he did. Now, this gentleman obviously was not my life match, and that's okay. But what I learned to do was hone in on what I love. What about being in relationship brings me joy? It brought that right up to the surface so that when I was ready to look for the next person, I knew exactly what I was looking for. I knew in what relationship I would thrive the most. And second, it made me much less likely to nitpick on that one little detail and drive it into the ground. No relationship can thrive when that's the perspective from which we're coming, and our brains are programmed to do it. We must choose actively to be different. We must have a tool, and the tool is joy. The tool is the joy gratitude weaving together. The strawberry that I found and that I have continued to look for in all the relationships of my life is to discover and recognize how the person in front of me is amazing. When I am focused on how that person is amazing, whether it's someone I want to be in relationship with or not, they're still amazing. Everyone's amazing. Have you ever had one of those conversations with someone you've known a long time, but they're kind of, a peripheral member of your friend group or somebody that your parents know, and then you find out that they marched with Martin Luther King and they had all of these adventures and they've traveled the world, and you have sat in dinner after dinner after dinner with them and never even knew? Everyone has an amazing story. Even if they're not right for you as a life mate, every person is amazing, and we can link into that joy of recognizing those strawberries all the time, every relationship. And it's delicious. It's so lovely. It's so lovely. Seeing their good, whomever, seeing their good equals seeing their truth, their divine truth, which inherently is joyful. It's wonderful. And there's a natural progression from healing the self to healing relationships to healing the quality of the world. You follow me there? When I heal myself, when I learn to see the joy, then I can apply it in relationships. And once I can apply it in my relationships, it's naturally becoming applied to every being everywhere, all sentient beings. If everyone I know has an amazing story, everyone has an amazing story. Whatever country, whatever lifestyle, whatever faith belief, whatever race, whatever style of living they choose, whomever they love, they are amazing. They are amazing, and we can choose to cultivate the knowingness of that. The strawberry that comes from that global application of joyous healing is the recognizing the joy of giving love and acceptance of what is. The dis-ease that happens in global relationship, in cultural relationship, the dis-ease that we're seeing in the world right now is from each person looking at what is and saying, no, they should be different. This should be different. This isn't right. Finding that one thing and honing in on it so hard that the amazingness of individual people, the beauty of cultures and religions and faiths and perspectives gets lost in the wash. I have beloved people in my life who see the world very differently than I do. And I have had to choose over and over again during this political cycle to see things like those people that think that have no conscience, no love for this country, no caring if people die. And I know that they are talking about people who believe like me. And I stop and I think, I know the truth of Lynn. I know that Lynn loves me. I know that Lynn has this sweet little bird that she rescued off her driveway that is called Chichibamba. And she carries it around on her shoulder, and he's the funniest, sweetest little thing, and she makes videos and puts it on Instagram all the time because she loves this little bird. And now the dog loves the bird, and the bird rides on the dog. And I know that she has grandbabies that she adores, and I know that she functionally made me go on my first date with my husband, even though I didn't feel well, because she could just feel that he was the one. I know that Lynn is amazing. And we just have this one little part of our lives that we see differently. And it isn't always natural. A part of me wants to get hurt and angry that she would say something like that about me. But I have a choice to use the joy that I know about her to support my ability to love her as she is, to heal this potential rift. This is going on between nations. This is going on within our nation. This is going on within families. This has been going on between religions since the dawn of time. And every step of the way, we have choice. In Give Us This Day, Ernest Holmes wrote, we must come to see that everyone is on the pathway of their own individual evolution, and that all of us are struggling toward the light. We should never damn this gift of life which we possess, refusing to give it out, to pass it on. In this way, we can feel that God is helping others through us. We may feel that we have a divine partnership with the great giver. Then joy will come into our lives, a sense of being one with all humanity, including all, excluding none. Excluding none. We need a tool for that. We need to consciously choose joy, to become aware of being one with all humanity, excluding none. The best definition I've found for joy is that it is the awareness and recognition of that divine partnership within. That's what joy is. When we say it's not a feeling, it's a state of being. It's a God quality. It's always there, but we must seek it within. When we joyfully know the truth of all people everywhere, when we can joyously stand in acceptance without needing people to be different, when we can stand for a cause without being against someone who wishes for something else, then we are always standing on that holy ground. We are sanctified right where we are, always. So this is my invitation. Seek strawberries. Cultivate strawberries. Choose strawberries. And learn to give strawberries. Be the life where people see you and learn to seek strawberries without even knowing that they've been taught. Choose to cultivate holy ground wherever you are, wherever you go. And I invite you to send Reverend Karen and myself your stories. Keep reaching out to us. Send us your creations. Send us your joyful moments. Send us your funny pictures. This summer of joy may be coming to a close at the end of this month, but joy has no end as we seek holy ground together. And so it is. Let us anchor this in prayer. So grateful I am to know, right here, right now, that anything that is seeking healing in the hearts, the minds, the physical bodies, the relationships, and the opinions of every beloved within the sound of my voice is right here, right now, being acted upon by the quality of joy and the action of gratitude. That the highest and the best rises up in our consciousness so brightly, so beautifully, that it turns our attention away from that which is not exactly the way we want it to be and fills our heart with the light that is our truth. What I know is that this light of truth burns away any dis-ease, any seeming illness, any brokenheartedness, and opens us up to a brighter awareness of the truth of our own nature and of all sentient beings. So I know our bodies, our hearts, our minds, our pocketbooks, our creative urges, and our lives are uplifted profoundly, and it is good. And so it is.